Good afternoon, everyone. This is Teacher Dean or Professor Dean, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Thieves reading strategy. The Thieves reading strategy was developed for university and college students, but we are also using it with 7th graders, 8th graders, and they have done an excellent job. Now, the Thieves reading strategy is basically where you're going to read a chapter and you're going to identify the following: title, or it could be a topic, headings within the chapter, introduction, E for every other sentence, V for visuals, and E for end of chapter. And the S is basically when you look at the summary. So this is what Thieves stands for, and it's very simple. Now, let's pretend we are reading this chapter, chapter 5. And that chapter 5 is coming out of the Power Connect textbook by McGraw-Hill. So let's pretend we are reading chapter 5. What is the topic? The topic is reading and remembering. Everybody got that? Now, within the topic or below the topic, there are headings. And if you know what headings means, they are little subtopics below the main topic. So there are little topics inside, and they used to separate each idea that the writer is talking about. So what would be a heading on this page? Student growth by grade. Wow, that's simple. Then, when you're looking at it in the Thieves strategy, and I'll go and explain a little bit further, they want you to use your own brain. They want you to explain yourself. What does reading and remembering tell me in a topic? What could student growth by grade tell me in a heading? So these are some of the things that you will see on the next page. Then it will ask you, does it have an introduction in the topic you're reading? It will also ask you to look at each questions. Right, so let me go to that page. So in the title and the topic, you're identifying it from the text. These are some of the questions that you will answer when you're doing the Thieves method. Again, this was developed for university students, but we're also using it for middle schoolers, and they're doing beautiful at it. Now, what is the title? You get that from the textbook. Does the title express a point of view? That's from your brain. What do you know about the topic reading and remembering? I know that I need to find a good way to read. I need to know I find a good way to remember. I know that when I read, I retain it. Maybe I use a Cornell method. Maybe I use a SAID method in the past. That's about reading. What about remembering? How do I remember what I learned? Maybe I use acrotic sentences. So that is doing what? Looking at your prior knowledge. For those who have it, you have prior knowledge of how to do reading and remembering. So let's go ahead and get that done. What do you know about the topic? What does the title tell me about this topic? How does it relate to another chapter? Maybe you read chapter 1, maybe you read chapter 2. How does it relate to a chapter I've read? And what do I want to learn in reading and remembering? So remembering, my friends, we are looking at this chapter, reading and remembering. Do I want to read and remember while I'm in college? Do I want to read and remember while I'm in school? Absolutely. You want to read and remember. Because some of us have a way of reading, but when we read, we don't pre-read. And this is what this method is. It's actually a pre-read method to do what? Get your ideas flowing. I hope that is clear. Now, when I'm looking at the headings are talking about something relating to the chapter. So in this textbook that I'm thinking, I'm looking at student growth by grade. So it's going to tell me how 6th graders are growing, or 7th are growing, 8th are growing. Right? That's what I'm seeing in this chapter. And then I'm going to see, why are the classes getting bigger? Why are the classes growing? Is it because of immigration? It's things that you think of. Is it because we have less students, less teachers rather, my apologies, less teachers, like what's going on right now, and too much students. We have too many repeating students, too many students that are not getting it. So why do we have so many students into one class? They're growing by grades. Maybe that's what it is. It could just be that the population of Florida or the population that you live in is growing. Right? Now, let's go. Look at the textbook that you're reading. Does it have an introduction? Usually, you can see it writes introduction in the first section of the chapter. Look for the introduction. Is there an opening paragraph? Did they give you a story? And now that you've read the introduction, has your expectations changed about reading and remembering? What if I told you that when you do reading and remembering, most of the things that you read, you don't remember it right away? That is why they have the corner note-taking system when you're reading. That is why they have the SAID system, if I remember it well, for another reading strategy. Where in that strategy, you're doing what? Identifying new words that you don't know. You're identifying and you're making notation of new words. You're looking up meaning in the SAID, SAID, if I remember it well, strategy. Now, while you're reading your textbook, every time you flip to a page, you start reading the first sentence in each section or paragraph. Then, after you read the section, did you read it, number one, and did it change your expectations about that section? So if I'm reading student growth by grade, and then I see classes now have 40 students, we have classes with different levels of learning. Those are my first sentences. Did it change my expectation, or what did it do at this time? Now, look for visuals. Did they give me any pictures? Is there any new vocabulary words or terms in that textbook? So if I look right here, I can see there's a picture. What does a picture tell me? Tell me it's a classroom and it has students holding up their hand. And it also shows me diversity because I can see different colors. Right? It shows me diversity because I can see somebody has a nail polish, somebody has clear fingers. Maybe that's a male, maybe one's a female. I can see by the very front, I can assume by the color of their hair of who they are. Everyone understands? Excellent. Now, I go to the back of the book. I look at the end of the chapter. Do they have any questions there? And what does the questions expect you to know from the reading? What are the questions they're asking you? Then you look at the chapter again and say, is there any summary? And what does the summary tell you about the chapter? So I hope this little video explains for anyone or everyone what we mean in the Thieves reading strategy. So this is a quick video with no thought process rather. So it wasn't well thought out. I'm going to say that up front. But I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you everyone and do have a superb day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the rest of this month. Thank you.